Hey, welcome to Madhouse Magazine Radio Hour, starring Mike and Mike, Padron and Macchioli. Today, as you can see by the album that I'm holding, we are doing a Neil Diamond tribute. I almost said Neil Young, but we're doing Neil Diamond tribute, and he's not even dead. So that's the first time, well, yeah, I think it is. First time we've done a tribute where he's not dead.
That's true.
So
Yes.
anyway, he's
We're
well
mourning
worth
him
it.
not performing anymore.
Exactly.
Yes.
Very good. Very well said, Mike. Macchioli, you get 2 points for that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So, of course, we all know Neil Diamond as the Jewish Elvis, right? The man, how many hits did he have? 40, top 40 hits about.
Amazing.
He sold more than
100
115 million records.
That's a lot of money.
And he had 10 number one singles,
Yes.
which is outrageous. We'll name them all later
And he
on.
spawned the Monkey's career.
Exactly.
I gotta
and
hear this. I gotta hear this.
There's so many things. Like I said, look at that hairdo he had, that pompadour, you could call that.
It's a quaff.
I don't want to say anything,
Coiffed
but
hair.
like if you look at this picture, doesn't he look a little like Macchioli? Doesn't he look like he could be
Wait, turn to the
Macchioli's
side,
dad
Mike.
or
Turn to the
something?
side.
He could be Macchioli's.
Put your eyebrow up.
See,
Put your eyebrow
Look at that.
Eyebrow
That's-
up.
Look, that looks exactly like him.
Oh, I see it.
Ah, he could be your illegitimate father. And you sound just like him. We recorded a song before. It sounded
You
awesome.
guys are kind.
Yeah.
I do not
God.
sound like the Jewish Elvis. He's awesome.
Just listen to it. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Legendary.
Really good.
We have a whole lot of show here. We're going to talk about his entire life up till today, from his birth, his inception even. We're going to talk about the night his parents did it. So
Stay tuned for that. He's got all the
so
juice.
stay tuned, and we're going to work all through his career. We're going to touch on everything.
Oh.
Mike's got some tidbits here. People at home who think they're the biggest Neil Diamond fans are not even going to know. This is good stuff. So we're going to start off with some music first, and then we're going to come back. We're going to go right
Exciting.
in. Normally, I start with nonsense, but
No.
since Mike
No time.
Macchioli's Padron, he's very sensitive. And he
He's
doesn't,
worked up. He's worked up.
He
Well,
doesn't
Mike,
like
calm
us
down.
to be rude to people, insensitive, if you will. So we're going to start right off. So let's play the music,
do it.
and we'll get right back with
Yes.
Neil effing Diamond, as they like to call
Shine
him.
bright like Neil Diamond.
What song should we play first? I got it. Here we go. Cherry Cherry, we're going to
Yes.
play by Neil Diamond, and then Kentucky Woman, which he stole from Deep Purple.
Mike's
And
got
then
the way to
we'll be
move me,
right
Barry.
back. So now let's
Welcome.
get right into the Neil Diamond tribute, of course.
Yes.
It's a very serious subject here.
You know
Neil Leslie Diamond, born in 1941 in Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
And his parents were Shlomo and Minnie Diamond.
Shlomo
Yes.
Wilna.
It wasn't
And-
Shlomo, I don't think. It wasn't Shlomo.
Hello.
Now, come on.
All right.
Give him the facts. Give
I
him
don't
the-
know what
just
his
the
parents
facts.
were.
It was Shlomo Wilna.
No, it's Silva or
Whatever.
something.
It doesn't matter what
It
their
had
name
something
was.
like that.
Here we go.
Okay.
His dad's real name was Kiev, actually.
Yeah, Kiev.
Kiev, like Poland or Russia, wherever
Kiev.
that's from. So anyway, it's funnier if I say Shlomo and Minnie, because they actually
I know.
they ran a haberdashery in Brooklyn, and it was called Minnie's Haberdashery.
What is a haberdashery? Do they cut off
Exactly.
foreskins?
We're
What do
not
they do?
talking about the Hateful Eight, Dennis. Come on, calm down, buddy.
See, they really did run a haberdashery, but that's why I said Minnie, because that's from the movie. But his mother's name, I think, was Tessie, or I don't even know what it was. It's irrelevant to the story.
Shlomo? Is that
Shlomo and Tessie. Let's go with that.
Goodness.
But
Okay.
anyway,
I'll
they
go with
did
that.
run a haberdashery, which they sold like ladies' undergarments. But the deal was they were used, slightly used. So they were half price. They sold girdles and underpants and bloomers.
Isn't that how
and
Nick got let go?
so anyway, let's stick to the story here. So anyway, his family ran a haberdashery, and his father was in the army, and they spent some time in Wyoming, which was shocking to me, you know.
Wyoming, wow.
But then he went through school, normal kid. He actually spent his summers up in the Catskills, as they do, and then he got a scholarship to NYU for you know what?
No.
Fencing.
He was pre-med as well. Actually, no, he got a scholarship for that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He got a scholarship to NYU for
he was pre-med.
fencing. He's premenstrual? What?
Premenstrual. That's
Oh.
why you drink this.
Oh,
yeah.
geez.
Speaking of that, this guy is drinking blackberry brandy. If you cannot see that, but women,
There's
would you
no
please?
brand. There's no brand.
Would
no,
you
stop?
Would you
Put-
please
put the
write
brand
in?
away.
Is
That's not
that
true.
or is that not a remedy for ladies time of the month for their cramps. Don't they
No.
drink that?
No.
Right in.
When
I'm
it's
off
cold
camera.
We
outside
need
and-
to ridicule
Yeah.
this guy.
Nah.
So anyway, let's get back to the show here. So
yeah.
fencing. Who knew that Neil Diamond was an excellent fencer?
I did.
Nobody.
He got a scholarship.
Yeah, he was pretty mad. So anyway, you know what school he went to though? He went to Erasmus High School in Brooklyn.
Yep.
And you know who else was his
Barbra
classmate?
Streisand.
Barbra Streisand,
Barbra.
of course.
It
Yes.
was Barbara. I swear to God, she was like butter back then.
All
I knew,
right.
but then Neil was like, I didn't know her that well.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
like, didn't you realize that girl was butter?
Yeah,
But,
and that she used to sell loose cigarettes in the alleyways. I heard.
In front.
Barbra Streisand
of a
did? Is that
Yeah.
what you heard?
That's what I heard.
All the way in Queens?
Yeah. So anyway, after school, he dropped out of actually NYU to become a songwriter, and he went to work on Tin Pan Alley. You know where that is? New York City, this Brill building, where everybody worked in a little cubicle writing songs all day. You had Ellie Greenwich, Jeff Barry, Carole King, Jerry Goffin, Lou Reed even worked there for a while too. He was pretty mad as well. And so anyway, he got married very early, 24 years old.
Exactly.
He was married with a wife
early.
and a baby.
Times are different.
Exactly. So then his first song came out in 66 on, you know what?
After-
Bang Records.
Bang Records.
That this
Exactly.
album right here, you can see that. It says Bang Records right there. This album that was spotlighting here is called His Greatest Hits, and this came out in 68.
And he already didn't even have a greatest hits.
The
Like, it was just kind
inspiration-
of like he wrote for everybody.
Right,
Like,
right. No, but these were his songs.
You know,
I
I
know.
heard that the inspiration to the first song he wrote, he killed a drifter to get an erection. Come on, anybody? Any listeners there? Come on, Will Ferrell?
Crackle
What
and
song
Rosie
was
might
that?
be his
Yeah.
ode to dangerous
It was
porn.
Forever
dude.
Blue Jeans.
Oh.
This next
Yeah,
song, I
so-
killed a drifter to get an erection.
We're going to put in stuff from that. If you have not seen that, you must go check out Will Ferrell's impersonation of Neil Diamond on Saturday Night Live. It's absolutely hysterical.
to America. My keyboard player.
All right.
don't keep
so
going.
let's get into this
We're
now.
gonna stop there.
So his first song, what was his first song? Solitary Man, Cherry Cherry. Those were his two first songs, right? And he was with Bang Records, right? But then Don Kirshner came a call in, and you know what song he wrote for the Monkees? He wrote I'm a Believer for the Monkees, which was a huge hit. It was a number one
one
smash. And I think that's what set the Monkees off over the top, like you mentioned. You know, so then he
And I
decided
saw your face and I'm looking.
he's going to he's going to have a solo career now at this point.
So low you can't hear.
Exactly. And he opens up for, you know who he opens up for one time? Or no, actually, who opened up for him? The Who opened up.
For Neil Diamond?
Yes.
Ah,
and
that's awesome.
They smashed his acoustic over his head, and he said, never again. So he actually got divorced already. 1967, he's already divorced.
Oh, man.
So he left Bang Records in 1968, and he joined the Uni label.
Bang, bang,
But it's very interesting that Bang Records was actually run by mobsters. And that he went in to tell the guy who, the head of the label, that I'm leaving. But he had a lot of hits at this point. Cherry Cherry was making a lot of money. So the guy was yelling at him and said, no way, you're not leaving. Do you know who runs this thing? And he looked over, Neil Diamond looked over, and there was these three hood-looking guys sitting on a couch over there. And then later on, they were looking at Life magazine, and on the cover was one of those guys as the head of the New York Mafia at the time. Really? So he was like terrified, and he started carrying a gun at this point. But the guy died like a couple days later, so Neil was out of his contract, and he said so long. He left his family. He went to California, and he said, I'm going to start a new life.
Is this
It's
for
sort of
real?
like the
California.
jazz
Is this for real?
singer.
Yeah,
story.
this is a true story. Yeah, yeah.
It's sort of like the
Magazine
jazz
stuff?
singer, though, Dennis.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. That's where we'll get to the jazz singer later, as you guys know.
Amazing.
So then, of course, hit after hit. He had Sweet Caroline
Sweet
in
Caroline.
1969, his first top 5 hit. And you know who was that was about?
It was about he played a sold-out show at the Forum, and then him and his bass player were drinking pretty heavily, and they were driving, and they hit a kid. They got out of the car, and, well, he was dead, so they drove away pretty fast, and they wrote Sweet Caroline.
There you go, exactly.
Come on, click on the link, people. You'll see
Thank
what I'm
you, Will
talking
Ferrell.
about.
Some people say that it was about Caroline Kennedy, but he changes the story over the years that it was about her, or it was about a dog, or about...
Well, no, Shiloh was
yeah,
about
someone.
a dog.
Yeah, so we don't know who it's about, but we'll never know.
You know.
So anyway, so then in 1972, he's living it up in L.A., and he's got a new wife and family at the time, so he decides to retire from the music business.
Wow.
Yeah, so he took 4 years off, and he spent just with his wife and kids, walking around, playing Parcheesi, relaxing, watching Sesame Street and the Teletubbies. I'm not sure that was on back in 72.
man.
Come on, man.
But anyway,
You know.
so he said that was the best time of his life, the happiest time of his life, and he had a successful family and everything. But then in 73, do you guys know about this book and movie called Jonathan Livingston Seagull?
Yes, it's
Did
one
you
of my
ever
favorite
read this?
albums. It's so good.
No, but did you
though.
ever read the book or see the
Yeah.
movie or anything?
No.
I never have, so I don't know what it's about. But is it actually about a
The
seagull?
album itself is really good, though. Check it out.
So he just
Seriously.
dismissed my question
No,
because he
I did.
doesn't know. He
No,
never
no.
read it. So
Honestly,
we'll
like
proceed.
it's a concept album. I'm not going to
from
actually
here.
address what he's saying until all of you read, listen to it, and then go from there.
Click on the link.
fine.
Tell 'em.
So
Tell 'em
anyway,
click.
Click on the
so
link.
During his retirement, he actually did the soundtrack to that movie, book, whatever it was, and that was a huge hit
So
as well.
Dennis doesn't even know what it was.
Not really, no. I know it's a book and a movie, but I never saw it, and I don't have
Show
time.
me.
I don't have time right now. So anyway, his big comeback came in 1976. Did you hear about this, Padron?
Okay, go.
When he produced the album Comeback. No.
Comeback.
It was called Beautiful Noise. And
Cleverly named.
you know who produced it? Robbie Robertson of the
Robertson.
band. Isn't that
Awesome.
huge?
That's cool.
And then that's why Neil Diamond ended up at the Last Waltz
You
performing.
better believe it.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, so this is a lot of good stuff. You didn't know about Neil.
That's really cool.
Neil
man. That's
Diamond.
Cool. He gets
So-
around. He
right.
Gets around.
So and then it just goes and goes. The biggest star, and he did "You Don't Bring Me Flowers" with Babs, of course, which became number one.
Babs.
And then
Streisand. Hey,
yeah.
my old friend.
I used to buy cigarettes from him, so I can call her
Babs.
Babs. Yeah,
You did.
He can
Yeah.
call her Babs because he was there
He
at
drove
that
from
point
Queens
in
to
life.
Brooklyn.
they were half price, man. What are you gonna do?
It's 50 cents a cigarette. She's amazing.
And I was shipping out to Nam that year, so
Yeah.
my first tour of
You were
duty,
6 years old.
Da Nang.
Remember that?
So anyway, 1979, he collapsed on stage. Did you hear about this?
I have.
The year I was born, 79.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh.
He had a
He dated himself.
what? You dated yourself? Is that what they call it nowadays? So anyway, he collapsed on stage. He had a giant boil on his.
His arse.
Oh, where was it? Show me, Dennis.
Forum.
Show me, Dennis.
Yes, at the Greek Theater.
Forum. Get him to the Greek.
This is the worst tribute ever, Mike.
Well, you know how you love tributes.
He's getting angry now.
So anyway,
I'm getting happy.
he did his. He collapsed on stage. I don't know why. It was no boil. It was-
What the-
who knows why?
False
But then
information. Don't
fake
shoot
news.
now.
Fake news. So
Keep
anyway,
listening.
1980, The Jazz Singer came out. The movie that Mike referred to prior.
Love it.
That I'd never seen that movie
As
either.
a child, one of my favorites.
Yeah, see, you should be doing this tribute. You should be leading this tribute.
No,
Mike.
honestly,
You
as a
are-
child, Jazz Singer, one of my favorites. Amazing
Really?
movie. Yeah, it's Al Jolson remake. And honestly, like the music in it is top to bottom amazing.
And Neil Diamond wore blackface in this, I assume.
No, he did no. It wasn't Mr. Bojangles. It wasn't anything crazy.
Well, Al
It was
Jolson, Al
No,
Jolson
no.
used to wear blackface, right?
well,
You old soft shoe.
So
Desi
anyway,
and Lucy's daughter. in
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Come on, like, seriously,
Lucy
like,
Arnaz,
Bojangles?
Junior's in
So
it too.
good.
So yeah, so the critics hated it, of course. Mike and fans loved it, and the soundtrack was huge. Like
America?
America
Amazing.
was on here. What was
You Don't Bring
America
Me
about?
Flowers,
It
like-
was
know?
about his massive hatred for immigrants.
Exactly.
Oh, come on,
Love
Mike.
on the Rocks.
No.
What
Yeah.
was that about?
Watch
Breaking
Will
up.
Ferrell.
Exactly.
Love on the Rocks.
Yeah, that's a good jam.
Ain't
I like
no
that
big
one.
surprise.
So let's stop and talk about his fans for a second here. That the fans loved him, that these women absolutely loved him. I got to say, it wasn't cool to be a Neil Diamond fan, that the critics hated him, but his fans loved him. So,
Best.
you know, that I had a hard time coming to grips with these over the years. As you can see, we're three cool rock guys here,
Yeah,
right?
And I'm
But
interjecting.
we're coming out here and expressing our love for Neil Diamond, even though it's frowned upon in the circles that we travel in, and
Yeah, disciples.
we may get
I
hate
have
mail,
to say,
but
folks, in the audience today, like Dennis actually gave me a hard time because he said, "Oh no, I can't play that. It's kind of cheesy." And he said all Neil Diamond songs are cheesy.
well, like I just said, that they kind of are. That's why they're good. He's a great songwriter.
You like the Monkees,
and-
right? I'm a believer.
Of course, that's a great song. But he's a great songwriter. That's what I'm saying. But it's not like you can compare it to the Ramones or something. It's a whole different world. That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
How could you even compare that to the Ramones?
That's what I'm saying.
Planet, bro.
How dare you? How dare you?
Hey, Neil Diamond is from Mars.
And
Ramones
are from Venus.
What does that
That's all I
mean?
got.
I don't even know.
I don't even
man.
know.
We're here, though. We're
So,
here with you.
Anyway, so all right, we're gonna go through his whole life and career. And no, should we take a break now or should we keep
let's
going?
keep on rolling.
All right,
man.
No, let's take a break.
Hello,
let's-
my
So
friend.
where are we? What year are we up
Let's start
to?
singing more right now.
We're up to.
We should.
Yeah.
All right,
You got it,
settle
bro.
down, settle down.
Simmer
And
down,
I've
huh?
told these guys time after time, no crosstalk.
But I love the
no
trio.
crosstalk, and they
even said a
continue.
word.
Talk
And
amongst yourselves.
Padron is especially guilty of that.
Yeah,
so
see?
Mystery
I'm good.
Mike.
that I'm gonna have to put a button here to shut off his mic when he does not listen. So, all right. So we're up to 1980 now. We're just talking about the jazz singer. So let's take a little break now. Let's play some more Neil Diamond music. But we're going to play his covers. People who've covered his songs. People have covered his songs all over the world from
Exactly.
all
Everybody.
aspects of life.
walks of life.
And this is my favorite Neil Young. Not
Neil Young.
Neil
I'm
Young.
gonna kill you. Like,
This is my favorite Neil Diamond song.
Host of the show.
Shh. This is my favorite Neil Diamond song, and this is my favorite cover, too. So this is, as Mike will know, we once covered this a while back. Do you remember this? Girl, yes. You'll be a woman soon by Urge Overkill. And then we're going to play I'm a Believer by the Monkees, and we'll be right back.
And then keep on rocking the 3-year-old.
You're making a shadow. Look, you're making shadows. Put your hands down. Sit up straight.
Oh, my goodness.
Fold
Military
your
school.
hands. All right, now, let's get back to Neil's life, career, and everything else. So we're back in 1980, and that was basically the end of it, if you ask me. But in the 1980s, MTV came out, right? And Neil Diamond was even less hip than ever. That he tried to do some videos, and they did look
turn
kinda,
on your hot light. It's so good. Come on, man. You love E.T. I watched E.T. last night.
Wait, hold on.
As a little child, the first actual Neil Diamond reference that I ever had was that song.
All right, so I forget that. It's in E.T.?
Yeah.
All right,
No,
cool.
it's not in E.T. No,
What?
no.
What?
He
Tell
wrote,
me.
He wrote
Soundtrack.
Turn On Your Heart Light about after he saw E.T. Like he connected with the whole film
the
and everything like
Heart
that.
Light. Yeah.
Turn On Your Heart Light.
And he wrote the
And
song
he wrote
about
a song
E.T.?
About E.T.
Oh, that's even gayer than I thought.
No.
So,
Like
Take
happier.
a
That's what
ride
you meant,
across
right?
the moon.
That's what
You
you
and
meant,
me,
happier.
Dennis.
It's a happy
Seriously.
song.
No,
Yeah, you're
it's
right,
a
yeah.
beautiful
All
song.
right,
all right.
It's
And
happier
honestly,
than I
that
thought.
made me, as
That's
a,
what
as
Dennis
like
meant,
a
listeners.
5-year-old child, a Neil Diamond fan.
all right, so let's get to the music
these
now.
three knuckleheads.
Let's name the 10 number one singles that he had. You ready? Cracklin' Rosie. Now,
Get 'em.
listen to this. Me and Mike were going to, I have to get into this whole thing now. Now, Mike texts one
Here's where it
text.
happens.
No, let me give my side of the story. You give yours, and then Padron will give the truth. That
I always do.
we text and find out what's going to happen for the show, and Macchioli does one text every 7 days. So we are going back and forth. All right, what song you want to do? And he says, you pick any song. I love every single Neil Diamond song. So
did not
the
say
day
that.
before the show, I text and I said, all right, I learned Cracklin' Rosie. Let's do that one. And he goes, I hate Cracklin'
All
Rosie.
the songs
Something
for him
else.
to pick.
I'm at work.
He literally went to he went to the internet and said, "Ooh, first acoustic Neil Diamond song, Crack and
Exactly.
Rose and Get On."
Yeah, it sounds just like every other Neil
right.
Diamond song. I like, you say, oh, that's not cool enough, Neil Diamond song. They're all the same cool level. There's not like one Neil Diamond song is cooler than the others. It's this level. So I don't understand where you came up with that. So anyway, we switched it over and we decided on Forever Blue Jeans.
Actually, Dennis decided on Forever in Blue Jeans. I sent him
Right, you
four
sent
other
me some
songs.
other song I had
was
never
the other
heard
one?
of, and it was terrible.
I Am I Said. No, what? Any song is fantastic. But the ones I sent you are very good acoustically.
right,
Whereas he was like, no.
He's like, too bad. I just learned Forever and
No,
Blue
I
Jeans.
learned Forever and Blue Jeans. You're beat.
That's
what you
how he
gotta do.
operates, listeners.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Well, I offered to have
Here's
Padron
what you do.
play the guitar.
We're playing my song
'cause-
tonight, I
like-
swear.
Settle down. You're peeking over here.
You're peeking.
That no high fiving during the show. That I forget where I was at.
Padron,
I
you-
offered Padron to play the guitar because I need to do all this engineering stuff.
I'm a
and
front man.
It will take it easy, take some weight off of my shoulders for Padron to play the guitar, but he refused. He
I
said,
did-
I only play the Doors and Smithereens. That's it.
Wow.
2 episodes ago, I did my guitar and I sang. That's,
And you can't play Neil Diamond songs left-handed anyway, so good thing we didn't try.
You don't play right-handed.
So anyway, Cracklin' Rosie was the number one. Song Sung Blue, Weeping Like a Willow was number one. Longfellow's Serenade from that movie that no one saw. I've been this way before, as Mike often said at his glory hole days.
Gloria. It was Gloria.
This is the worst tribute ever. If you know what I mean. I don't even know that song. If you know what I mean. Is that how that goes?
Folks, just by the way, this is the first time you heard Glory Hole tribute anytime on a radio show. You can't even come back from that, bro.
All right. Another number one song. Desiree. I don't know that song either.
Oh,
How's that one go?
I'm not even gonna bother.
No, sing that. I don't know that one.
What you want me to?
He doesn't
you
know
just
it.
got-
He
no.
doesn't know it. Absolutely.
He just got mad at me singing, and now he doesn't want me to sing.
When I ask you, then you.
I'm out of your beck and call.
Nobody knows how
Freaking
Desiree
sing.
goes. Nobody knows Desiree, but it was number one.
How
You don't
about
bring me
Shiloh?
flowers.
How about Shiloh?
It was not a number one.
But do you know Shiloh?
You don't bring me flowers was a huge number one, of
Yes.
course, with
A
Babs.
huge. It was huge. It was
America.
Y-U-G-E.
Well, what about in the
Huge.
movie?
Shh. I'm
One
still
outside.
naming the top
Wait, no. Go.
number one singles.
Go back to "You Don't Bring Me Flowers." It
all right,
was
go ahead.
huge. It was one of the biggest songs I ever heard in my life. It was amazing.
It was so huge.
It was so huge that I swear to God, Barbara even came out of retirement just to sing it with me.
Yes. Now, what was that other song that Barbara sang with a BG?
Bee Gees?
She did a duet with a BG
Yes, you're
guy.
right.
What was that
They
song?
were amazing songwriters.
Yeah, all right. That's another show.
Let's do it.
So anyway, like I said, America, number one. Yesterday's Songs was number one. I don't know that song either. Headlight.
Got nothing to be guilty
Heartlight.
of. Glory My hole love, days. A climbing mountain. You're ever gonna cut that whole part?
I don't
but
know
had
that
to.
song.
Oh, he's going to...
Heartlight. I don't know Heartlight, and that was number one as well.
E.T.
Turn
So-
on your heart light.
Oh, okay. I probably know it when I hear it. Yeah, I just don't know it by
Get a
name.
smile
I know all these
wherever
songs,
you
of course,
go.
because I got to say, I was listening to the greatest hits at work today. I had it on my phone, blasting 50 songs out today, and everyone was a great song. I got to say. So I may be joking. I kid.
I do.
But I do. I love the Neil Diamond.
Well, as a little kid, I have to say though, like Neil Diamond and Barry Manilow were like my two guys. They were so
Really?
good. Yeah, because my parents honestly didn't listen to rock music, so I heard a lot of Barry
They
Manilow.
force-fed
and
that on you?
Neil Diamond and like
Wow.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Heartlight was so good because I like honestly the first film I ever saw in the theaters was E.T. And Heartlight, I was like, oh, it's about
Those
E.T.
Reese's
That's such a
Pieces.
cool song.
See, this is good. This is what
It was really
these are
good.
the things that Mike keeps from us. You
Yeah.
notice that, Padron? Macchioli is sharing something with us about himself.
Family
Yeah,
memories.
no, I love Neil Diamond. I
There you
really
go.
do. And honestly, like even the Monkees, I'm a believer. Like all that stuff, he was an amazing songwriter.
Oh, I
He
will
was, like,
never
so
take that
good.
away from him. But
Some people don't like his delivery.
no,
And
that
honestly,
why?
he has a lounge singer type of act, but like he's an
It's that-
amazing songwriter.
Oh, no
and
question.
An amazing lyricist, amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
Like the guy,
and
is
he's a very good
and
showman. You
an
know,
incredible performer.
exactly. That
Absolutely.
the ladies love him.
Are we going to touch
That-
on Saving Silverman at all? or-
You-
Oh,
Maybe.
we should.
Yes,
we
yeah.
probably should. Yeah.
Drink your blackberry brandy and leave the show to us.
Ladies?
Thank
So,
you. Yeah, we're talking here, Mike.
The men
Stop
are talking,
interrupting.
Padron.
Stop interrupting, all right? The adults are talking. Sit over in the corner with your blackberry brandy. Drink your
So,
cranberry juice.
Let me go through the rest of the facts that I have here, and you can
Go.
interject. Yeah, right.
go,
So,
girl.
he during the rest of the 80s, all he did was tour. He toured some more, and people loved him. The ladies loved him. Oh my God, he's such a nice boy.
Play me. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
He's on the stage.
It's
Yes.
fantastic. It's like butter.
His son even joined him in the band and went on tour with him and made him very happy. And
That sounds familiar, really.
yes, and that was it. That's all I know about him.
Nice.
That the rest
all
of
you know
the rest
about
of
Neil
his
Diamond.
career, the rest of through
What
the
did his
80s,
son-
90s, 2000s, he didn't really have new music that I know
Let's put
about.
this in reverse. What did his son play? Do you know?
He played the flugelhorn, actually.
That's
Yes.
incredible.
That's a glory hole winner.
Ah, very good. Mike? Wow, Mike is like a genius tonight.
Flugelhorn solo.
He's peaking again.
Peeking
All right,
the,
we're gonna have
charts.
we're gonna have to
folks.
edit this whole show out.
This
but-
trio right here, you want on live from
Mangione.
Yes,
Chuck
that's what
Mangione.
I'm saying. That's why that was genius.
Mangione,
He did a
man.
song. He was just imitating a song, "Feels So Good" by Chuck Mangione,
Feel Good.
who is
So
the world's only flugelhorn player that anyone knows.
Flugel.
Amazing.
Yes. So Mike's fixing his hand now. So
because you could see that. could see
all right, everybody settle down.
Oh, here it goes.
We're gonna have to cut some more stuff out.
Oh,
here.
talk about
So-
hair, bro.
All right, so then that's all I got about Neil Diamond.
Yeah.
That unless you can tell me what he did for the 2000s, I don't really know.
Go.
But anyway, he's now.
We can
Go
actually
ahead.
go into the 2000s, like
Go.
Saving Silverman.
Oh yeah, let's talk
That's
about
an
this
amazing
Saving
movie.
Silverman.
How many years?
Sorry, the F word.
Shh.
You know
Saving
what that is?
Silverman.
I've never seen
Amazing
it either.
movie.
Well, that's why. That's a part in the movie. So I didn't. just
Honestly,
think of airspace.
Jack Black, if you're a fan.
Yes,
watch
I
this
like Jack
film.
Black.
Steve Zahn and the guy from American Pie. What's his
Okay.
name? Jason Biggs.
Jason Silverman.
Jason Biggs.
Big.
Awesome.
Movie Saving
Like,
Silverman.
it's so good. Like, literally, because they're all obsessed with Neil
And it's
Diamond.
about Neil
They have a
Diamond.
Neil Diamond tribute band. Like,
Oh,
honestly,
okay.
this is an amazing thing. Hello, my friend. Hello. Exactly.
Oh, I would like to check that movie out. So
It's so
it does
good.
sound very interesting.
Hey, tomorrow, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna call in sick tomorrow, and we're going to smell this. This is 1970,
I'm smelling the shit out of that.
1968. And what was the label that this was on, Mike?
Bang.
Bang, exactly.
Bang.
The Bang.
Ah,
recordings.
bang! That's delicious. If you're playing at home, go get your Neil Diamond albums and start smelling them right now.
Oh, that smells like an old roller rink. It's great.
1968.
Mike, it's
Is awesome. So yeah, you know, we will miss Neil Young and Neil Diamond. This is ridiculous. I apologize to the fans out
No
there, Neil Diamond
apologizing,
fans.
man.
That
I need another. I need
yeah,
another
right.
riff.
We bring you the goods. He's smelling the shit.
That's how you're gonna get Parkinson's, by smelling the album too long. There's a-
Man, that's how Nick got let go. All right.
yeah. So anyway, that's all I have for the Neil Diamond tribute there. That is, you know, very nice show. We got to wrap this up. 30 minutes. Look how nice. What
He's
a
one
nice
of the greatest
boy.
singer-songwriters of all
Yes,
time.
he
He's
really
a
was.
wonderful man. And honestly,
He does seem like a nice guy.
If you've never listened to him, he's an amazing artist. He
Who's
really
never
is.
listened to him?
He really
Everybody
is.
has to know at
Everybody
least one
knows
Neil
a
Diamond
song by accident, like Sweet Caroline by
Oh,
accident.
yeah.
Like, you know. And if you're Red Sox fans, go Yanks.
Should we go out with that? Should we sing Sweet Caroline, a rousing
That's
rendition of it? Sweet
Sweet
Caroline.
Caroline.
Da, da, da.
Good times never seem so good.
I don't even
So
know
good,
the words.
so good.
Do the best you can.
All right.
I'm feeling fine.
There you go. That's it. We're wrapping the show up. We have 30 minutes, and we did the best we could under the circumstances. I hope no one was offended.
Yes.
I don't want to get any letters from any Neil Diamond
All right.
fans or Neil Young
Philadelphia.
fans or Fergie fans.
New
Stop
Jersey.
saying Neil Young.
I didn't. I
New
said-
York.
I
Oh,
said.
you only did 4 other times.
Florida.
So yes, we love Neil Diamond. He's a great songwriter,
The
great
greatest.
singer, great performer. The Jewish Elvis. He ran a haberdashery.
Send your comments, man.
His
Wherever
parents
you
sold.
are in the States.
His parents sold used underpants.
Mike's breaking.
All right, so we're wrapping the show up now. Neil Diamond, go out and buy all his old albums. You can start with this one.
Buy all of
I'll
them.
sell you this one
One of
for $200. This
On
is an
eBay.
original Bang, Mike. Bang Records.
That's like
you can't get that anymore.
No.
So anyway,
It's like a Hank
thanks for
Aaron
listening.
baseball card.
And now we're
It's
gonna
true.
let's see what we're gonna go out with. You know what we're gonna go out with? We're gonna play some live songs now. You know what we're gonna play?
Yeah.
We're gonna play Solitary Man live and
I am, I said.
Macchioli's favorite, Cracklin' Rosie live,
get
and then
on
the
board.
Artist of the Month. See you next time. Madhouse Magazine.
See ya.
Radio Hour, madhousemagazine.com, 474 The Mix. Let's hear it for us and Neil Diamond.
Yeah, the trio. Woo!
The band's
It's us,
back
baby.
together.
1, 2, 3. This is it. No one else. Keep that in. Yeah, disciples.